Bye. I'm down. I can't see. Need to go.
Welcome everyone to the social van. Feeling Kyle sick of the bullshit. So here they are, reppin' C+, ready to turn every podcast to dust. So sit down and shut the fuck up, cause when in doubt, fuck your couch. Welcome everybody to the social vent. Yeah!
Well, I mean, we've been recording for the last 16 seconds and at this point you just click before we even begin.
I know, got corona.
One of the weirdest things is...
Got the bat rona.
No, but it's one of the weirdest things is, like, you can't just cough in public anymore.
No!
You can't just clear... You can't, like... Well, that was a little spicy, you know, it's in my throat. Everybody had just looking right at you.
Like today I was eating, I got a lunch at work. And I was, like, sitting there and it was French fries. And their French fries are very crunchy and they have a lot of seasoning on it. And I got some... the seasoning stuck in the back of my throat, and I was all, and all of a sudden I had two other tables just like, whoosh, look at me, I was like, fry,
Yeah, just gotta yell it before. No, I was at Home Depot a while ago, I was wearing my mask and everything, but like I had a little bit of like saliva in my throat, and I got it caught in my throat for a second, and I knew I needed to cough, but I was like, trying to hold it in the best I could, and like luckily enough I wasn't talking to anyone, but I was just like, oh, this sucks. Because I know if I cough, everyone's just gonna be like, oh man, he's sick. And this is weeks ago when like Arizona was doing terrible.
Well, here's one good story. Like today I bought the girls their dinner, and they like, here you go, and they put the thing on the table. And this other girl went and just automatically grabbed it. And she's like, I didn't order this. And I was like, yeah, that's mine. And she just tosses it back onto the table where it was laid. Oh my God, I swear to God, I don't have Corona. And I'm like, but you just tossed my food. I'm like, I'm more pissed the fuck off that you just tossed my food like that and being so disrespectful.
It's funny that we've reached this really weird point in the world where everyone is like you're seeing the what is shining the most out of people, either their selfishness or their kindness, where people are being respectful, giving you space, yada yada yada, not like being an ass, or people are being super asses. Like, and I know there's middle ground people. It's not to say it's super generic. Like, it's a general statement, but it's just so weird to see how many people are showing the worst in themselves nowadays.
Oh my goodness! I went to Walmart yesterday and I was, well, you know what? Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is KMB The Sexy Ninja, aka Pop.
And I'm Flix.
Welcome to the social vent. Now back to what we're saying.
You'll probably get the beginning of this, but we're starting this out. We are going to be watching The Dark Knight.
This is part 2.
Part 2.
This is how what was I saying? I was at Walmart and, you know, I'm trying to follow you enter this way, you exit this way. You enter this way, you exit this way. And
Which you didn't used to do when we went to bashes.
yeah.
Or people weren't doing something like that.
Yeah, but now I'm being like, okay, well, I need to be a little more respectful because I'm back in retail and I understand how crazy people are. So, and I'm just watching people and like, I get so claustrophobic now, even if there's like 2 people in the aisle and they're so huddled. And the kids are back, so that doesn't make it even better because they all have to be in their little groups.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because when people talk about social distancing, they're like, well, the exception is the people that you live with necessarily. Like, unless you are social distancing from them as well, in which case in public you should be. But it's just, they don't care. Like, people want elementary school students to socially distance. And high school students and college students can't even do it. Like, and they do it out of, I don't want to say spite, but they do it not out of ignorance, where kids will just do it out of ignorance, or they'll do it to rebel. And I don't know. I'm thankful I don't have kids that are starting school. And
wow, thank you. Mine started school this Monday.
I'm sorry.
No, it's crazy, man. But we did take the option of having her go to be online. So we got her the iPad and so on and so forth. And they're like, she can come back in October. I'm like, well, let's just watch the numbers first, because I've seen all these people protest and just get so upset, and they're like, these teachers don't want to work, and blah, blah.
I don't blame them. Like, it's one of those, I am not a parent. That's, I have a harder time to have a say in this. But as a human being, I don't think that we should be forcing teachers to come back to school if they don't feel careful. And kids are super on the rise right now because schools are restarting. So if I was a teacher, I'd be like, can I get like a foot thick plate of glass all around my desk with like a door that I'm the only one that can leave out of that goes straight to my car that's like covered in a bubble? Because I'll show these kids in person. Will I touch this kid right now? Probably not. For twofold reason. If by chance I have it, I don't want to give it to someone else. And if they have it, I don't want to get it.
Yeah, but I will say the best thing about all this is I know a lot of people who are huggers, and I don't mind a hug as long as like it's like with you or somebody that I
someone that that if they have the illness you're gonna get it anyway.
Well, not even that. It's just people. I know people are very touchy. Like I know people who are touchy where I'm like, don't touch me, And usually when I see them, they're like, Kyle, and they go in, and I'm like,
just a stick.
But now they're like, Kyle. I'm like, hey, 6 feet.
Yeah.
6 feet, motherfucker,
Yeah, no, and it's a good excuse to use sometimes. So we are going to start this. Sorry, we've spent so much of your time doing it. We're going to start. We might still be a little off track in the beginning of this part too, but we'll put a timestamp in it as well, just so you guys know. We're watching the Blu-ray. We're at 1 hour, 24 minutes, 23 seconds.
Yes, Gordon has got promoted.
Or he's about to. I honestly.
Either or.
We went to. Yeah, no, he's about to. This is right when the mayor is saying you don't have a say in the matter. You're the new commissioner. But
yeah, because I thought I timed this just right. We just started the movie. I thought I timed this just right before we got the clap.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's
that sounds bad.
I'm just saying that this is where we're restarting.
Yeah, boom. So either or, we still get the clap.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, sorry. Oh. You couldn't keep me in on.
I mean, think about it. Like
I've been home. I don't see anybody.
Yeah. My only job is to be at home. Let's be honest. The only time I ever leave that home is when I'm forcibly removed later.
Yeah. Because when he kept the secret away from her, I'm just like, was there a plan of like, oh well, Joker could try to get my wife and interrogate her or anything, but none of that happens. So he gets that. He's well deserved of that slap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, imagine if you died for a week.
He probably had a party. Maybe that's why he did it.
The funniest thing would be is if he was just hiding out somewhere, just like you're saying, having a party, but just the most ridiculous thing. He's just like, bachelor life, bro!
Say, Gordon, did you tell your wife? No, don't.
Don't tell my wife. We're going to go fishing, too.
Yeah, you guys still want to go on that fishing trip, right? This is how I planned it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this scene. I think the scene is very iconic. I wonder... I always got it twisted up. I was always like, did they use the same room for Man of Steel? But I rewatched Man of Steel later.
No, not even close.
No.
The room they use in Man of Steel is super clean.
Yeah. For jails, these jails are dirty.
That's Gotham. Everything's dirty.
Yeah.
Like, outside of Wayne Manor, I don't think there's anything that's clean here.
Yeah. But look at that makeup. I like when it's all over the place, especially with the black and the red, and I think it gives it more of an iconic look than how he's more put together.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I wonder too, is there a reason why we have half these lights off? Like,
be the funniest thing if the lights turned on and the entire time Joker's lawyer's just been sitting beside him. Batman slams his head down. I was like, oh, hey, you harassed my client. Oh, how did you get here?
No, Batman. The light flickers and they see Batman. And he's like, "Hey guys, you ruined the surprise."
Well, I mean, the Joker doesn't even know.
A good cop, bad cop routine.
I don't know. I also do think it's pretty interesting with the Joker and like this take on him that he has a physical disability of some sort with his mouth with those cuts, but there's no chemicals that have made him crazy. Like they kind of give the excuse for Jack Napier or anything like that. Like,
well, that's why I think this Joker's I'm such a big fan of this Joker is there's so much mystery that it makes it intense, especially the fact he keeps changing his story. Like, I remember the first time I watched it, and then the second time I was like, oh, because I was so in like awe. And then when you watch it, it's like, oh wow, whoa, he did change the story like a couple times, like for me, but just because I was just in awe of this, the way he performed and the way he was talking, the way he was bringing himself about. Then like when you really dive into like his psyche, you're like, this guy's really psychotic. Wonder where he's from. And they're like, he has no fingerprints. There's nothing of him. And I'm like, this is a Joker I can get behind, because like you said with the Joaquin Phoenix movie, you stated that's not Joker. Mm-hmm. Anybody can be that role of going crazy.
Mm-hmm. And it was that it seemed superficial that Joker was, a name that was just stamped onto that character, where with this one it is like his goal is Batman. The person that kind of created him into who he is now is Batman.
Yeah. So
it's not, oh, I was created by an uncaring society. It's like, no, you are attached to Batman.
Yeah, he says it later on, but the immovable object and stuff like that. We're destined to do this. We're, and I've always liked that mythology of Batman and Joker. Like they're the same card, with two different sides, and they need each other in some weird way, to make it balance. Because he never kills him. Gosh, like
no, he does, but in different realities, and every time he does, things go bad.
Yeah, then like 80 years of Joker. We're still getting Joker to this day, and they're currently doing the Joker War right now, which is getting pretty intense. And now they got the 3 Jokers that are coming out on DC Dark Label that's going to explore. I guess there's been 3 Jokers throughout time, because do you remember when Batman
sat on the
chair and he was like, tell me who Joker is, and then he's like, no way.
If there's 3 of them. Well, and I think it was like, there's the Cesar Romero Joker is one of them, and you're like, I don't know how I feel about that one being added to the bunch.
Yeah, so that starts, I believe I don't know, ever since COVID, like I have no recollection, no input on when these books will come out. It's just like when the books come out, they come out, because at this point, they're just shoving these books out as fast as they can now.
Mm-hmm. But
I just love this beatdown.
Well, I think it's just like he's right. There's nothing that he could do, and he gives. I don't know. He gives her gives him the option,
and he automatically takes the Rachel one.
Well, which is why he told him the opposite ones.
Yeah, and I like when he goes, "I really thought you were dead." The way he flew after her, and he's just like. And I think he's happy about it because he's like, yay, there's still that mystery.
Well, let's be honest. If Dent had been Batman, it doesn't matter where Wirtz or Ramirez had taken him. He would have beaten the crud out of whoever it was if he was Batman.
Yeah. But I'm just saying he's just happy, like, oh, hey, there's still that mystery. It's kind of like in the Harley Quinn show. Remember when they take off his mask? He's like,
you ruined the surprise.
I don't want to know who he was right now.
He didn't want to know who he was at all.
Yeah.
That's the truth of the Joker is if he knows who Batman is, the game is over. Yeah. He doesn't want to know.
Oh, the way he taunts him makes me so fucking happy because he's just like, you want to know which one of your friends were cowards? And I'm just like, ooh, you just like you're digging.
I don't know why they left him in there.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like
he's in what should be a sealed room.
Yeah.
Leave him in there. Shut the door. You're all good.
Yeah. And I was always wondering about that, but I was like, is this just more for acting's sake, just so we're trying to grab that Oscar? You know?
Well, no, and this is the problem with Joker's plan, is had that guy not been left in there with Joker,
he'll have his phone call.
He won't have his phone call during this time. He won't escape. He'll be stuck in there the entire time. So, cool. Like, yes, you did kill Rachel, and you scarred Harvey, but you are still in jail, and you are still caught.
Alright, who has the best Rachel, Batman or Harvey? Like, yelling-wise.
Well, the fact that Batman does it in the Batman voice kind of takes away from it.
Rachel!
Yeah.
I think the first Rachel in Batman Begins is better, because it's a little bit more of that softer tone. Hold on, Rachel! Rachel! You know.
Yeah. I don't know. Part of me wonders that if the third movie had been more about Two-Face, like if this movie had been most of the Joker going on, Joker's plan, stuff like that. Harvey's in the hospital. End of the movie, Harvey is broken out of the hospital. He's on the loose. Joker has been caught. You still have the corrupt cops. Next movie is about Harvey as Two-Face taking down the corrupt cops and, like, forgetting the whole League of Shadows thing.
Well, that's why I wonder, because I figured out, like, I looked it up, Heath died during the editing phase of the movie, so I always wonder, because Nolan said they were working on the third, story, not script to say, but where they were going with this whole trilogy, and with Heath dying, it was kind of like, oh man, what was in store? Like, were we gonna bring back everybody? In the end, Two-Face, and like they're like, Two-Face is not dead, But
it's one of those. Even with Heath's passing, Heath didn't have to be the defining point of Two-Face. It's more, I think that Two-Face is vastly overshadowed in this movie. Like, think about as Harvey Two-Face. How many scenes does he have? 3?
Yeah.
He's got
one in the bed.
Okay, I guess 4 then.
Yeah.
He's got the one in the bed, the one where he's in the bar and kills Wirtz, the one where he's in the car and kills Maroney.
He doesn't kill Maroney, though. We don't see Maroney die.
Well, the car gets flipped and he's not wearing the seatbelt. That's kind of what's supposed to be implied.
Boom. Did Maroney show up, though, in Dark Knight Rises?
I don't believe so.
It still makes me laugh that week. Every time I bring up Dark Knight Rises, I'm like...
That's the point, though. Dark Knight Rises was not that impactful of a movie. Yeah, you had Tom Hardy as Bane, but there was nothing in that movie that was led to from these movies. The only thing you had is that Batman's been gone for a while.
Well, Rachel's note.
Well, that breaks them up. But even that isn't well done. It's the funny thing is, like, Alfred's just like, what if she wrote you a note saying she was going to pick someone else and that she was going to stay with Harvey? And he believes him. Like, it's one of those, like, yes, I don't think Alfred would lie about something like this. But you think about it, it's what broke you two apart. But why?
Yeah, I love that scene where he's like, just because of the acting, but then when you really think about it, like, wow, you lost Alfred this early in the movie? And then he doesn't come back in the end? I'm sorry I let you down.
But you know what also would have been a really good thing that Batman could have done to help with this is if he had visited Harvey in the hospital.
He was heartbroken though.
Well, no. But here's the thing: is if Batman went, okay, so even Commissioner Gordon, if Gordon went, okay, Harvey, Batman went for Rachel, right? When he arrived, he wasn't looking for you. He was looking for Rachel.
He said, "Fuck you."
Well, he left you to us. So I'm really sorry that Rachel died. But no, Batman was really trying to help you, and we were really trying to help, or was really trying to help her, and we were really trying to help you. Like, I feel like that would have helped not so crazy of Harvey.
Hey guys, there's a bat over there.
Yeah.
Snooping around, Alfred.
Well, okay, but you think about it. If Alfred, if Rachel had been, because she said he could read it. If Rachel had just said no, if Rachel just said it's for Bruce, he really needs to.
Or she could have been like, it's for the right time. But
well, no, that's what she said. She said it's for the right time. He said, well, how will I know? She says the letter's not sealed.
And when I die, I didn't mean too soon.
Well, that's the point, though, is that he's like, oh, this isn't the right time then because she just died.
Oh, I hear you. Technically, he's at the hospital saying, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's not saying I'm sorry, though. He's just as guilty. I'm just saying, when Harvey's awake, if he just been like, hey, look, I'm sorry that I saved you. I'm going to be honest. I was trying to save Rachel.
I only
because
loved her once.
No, but because Rachel was the one I was trying to protect. I'm sorry that I let you down and then I let her down. Because look at this. This is what he's going to say right here.
Yeah, I know. But look at this scene. I love this scene. Like, because we were talking about this, and you're like, and he's in his penthouse with the cowl off, just sitting there, just like, I fucked up.
Yep. Which I will also say, Michael Caine is one of the strongest parts of this movie, and that's also something that I really don't like about The Dark Knight Rises, is that, like we were talking about...
Well, he's in both Batman Begins and this movie. He's the strongest, he's the glue.
And he doesn't necessarily agree with what Bruce is doing, but he understands why he needs to do it, and he doesn't stand in his way until he tries to do something reckless. So...
We'll never give up on Bruce.
Until he does.
Yeah, he does. He's like, all right. He goes, all right, motherfucker. He goes, I will tell you this. Rachel, nope. You aren't getting that ass.
Yeah.
Now every time I tell myself, like, and I tell you, I'm going to go watch Dark Knight Rises. I'm like, I really want to go watch Dark Knight again. Then maybe I'll watch Dark Knight Rises. But I never, like, tell myself, I want to watch Dark Knight Rises. I'm going to watch Dark Knight Rises. It's I get home and I'm like, Phantom Menace?
But okay, so outside of Rachel's letter, it brings almost nothing from the other movie. And yeah, there's the Dent Act, quote unquote, but that could have just been something else. Like, that didn't require this movie for that to happen. I'm just saying that Nolan did really good at the first two. And then on the third one, he just kind of lost his story. Like,
I think I knew where he was going with that. Like, in soon because it's 8 years, you got to bring Batman back. You got to break Batman to make Batman rise again, and this and that. But I just think that movie, honestly, to be really honest, should have been a two-parter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, have Bane break the bat in the first part. I'm not a fan though of, like, when they do, like, what's the last Harry Potter movie?
The Deathly Hallows?
Yeah, like Deathly Hallows Part 1, Part 2, even though on that grand scale it is a book, it needs to have that big finale. Mm-hmm. But, like, it's kind of like, what's the last one for Hunger Games?
Catching Fire, or Mockingjay.
Mockingjay, right? Like, Part 1, Part 2. I'm not big fans of, like, when they split the finale into two, because that's why I always feel like they try to milk it.
But it's, okay, so in defense of Harry Potter on this one, if they had, from the fourth book, started doing two-parters, I would have been okay with that. Like, the issue being, hey, it's the last one, let's milk this for as much as we can, that's one thing. But the fourth book was exceedingly long. The fifth book was even longer somehow. And they made those into one-piece movies, and you lost a lot of the story because of them. Now, movies being two-part, I'm not exactly opposed to. Granted, you think about that, this is already a two-part movie where we're watching right now, because Batman Begins leads into The Dark Knight. Mm-hmm. Like, and there's no direct source material that all of this is from. Like, there's source material, the comic books that this is from, but it's not like with BBS or whatever, where they're directly copying or trying to copy certain stories. This one is supposed to be kind of its own take.
Okay, so if I pitched you, hey, let's split The Dark Knight Rises into 2 parts, you wouldn't be opposed to that. So
I mean, I don't really like The Dark Knight Rises anyway.
I'm just saying, but on a grander scale, writing the story better, I told you, we end part 1 with him breaking Batman's back. That is like the final shot you get. Like, you know...
Are you still threatening to blow up the city? Like...
Yeah.
I don't know, like, it's... That story has so many issues for me with where it leads to. I don't think 2 parts would have fixed it. I feel like if in this movie they'd led more into like the League of Assassins being part of this or something like that, because you realize you go from the first movie being about the League of Assassins attacking Gotham, trying to fix it, go to the second movie, unrelated completely. Joker comes in. We have Two-Face come in. Both of them are gone by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe the Joker was supposed to be in the next one, but regardless, they're both...
We gotta go with what we have now today.
Yeah. And then the third one, all of a sudden, goes back to the first movie's end. Like, it's Dark Knight doesn't fit into this trilogy compared to Batman Begins and The Dark Knight Rises. But because The Dark Knight's a really good movie, it makes it seem like Batman being in... Okay, it leads into The Dark Knight, sort of. But then The Dark Knight doesn't lead into The Dark Knight Rises. So...
Yeah, because you got that... Remember when we were like, oh my gosh, this movie's going to be so epic. And we're like, how many years has it been since you stopped being Batman? It's got to be a couple, right? They're like 8. I'm like, whoa, that's
like, you guys took a really big jump there. And... Well, the truth is, in the first movie, Batman was a vigilante to stop pretty much mobs. Like, he didn't have any real villain he was facing that he knew of until Ra's al Ghul came back.
And I feel like that was the level Nolan was trying to go with, because, you know, you deal with the mob. Yeah, he had Scarecrow, but he wasn't really super villain-esque.
He was working for the League, though.
Yeah, but not to that extent. He had Ra's, who, you know, they've been doing this for years. Even Bruce was like, how long have you been doing this? He goes, it's not the first time we burned Gotham down to the ground.
It's not even that. It's not the first city.
Yeah.
They talk about how I think they talk about they were responsible for Rome or something like that. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so in this one, like, you get that sense of supervillain from Joker, where Batman's like, I have, like, the mob is, like they say in this movie, the mob is one thing, but some dude that's dressing up. Like,
well, and then you go to The Dark Knight Rises, which has Bane come into the picture.
Supervillain.
Yeah, you have an actual, like, supervillain and the League, but...
Then, Talia.
Oh, and then Talia. And then Talia, who... The things I really hate about Talia, is she's not really portrayed as a strong female character.
And Talia is.
And Talia is supposed to be, like, the most badass. And that's one of the things is, with, you know, the thing with Talia and Bruce. They have a relationship. Yes, I know that she drugs him and that's how she makes Damian. But they kind of have a good relationship as they both see what the other is doing and understands that one of them isn't going far enough, the other one's going too far.
Oh, you have Catwoman in Dark Knight Rises as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Selena.
Well, there's Selena, like... My God, there is a lot going on in that
Exactly.
movie.
And think about this. How many characters are return characters?
Yeah.
It's really just Scarecrow comes back. Not even as Scarecrow, just Dr. Crane.
Yeah.
I
think that would have been epic, like, if Heath didn't die. Like, I think that movie would have grown so much more with, like, everybody returning. Like, everybody's back. Guess what? We lied about Two-Face. We've kept him underground, but he found his way to claw himself back up.
Well, I don't know.
Because how epic would it be when Gordon is being dragged, you know, him and his unit, then all of a sudden, like, here's the judge, and instead of it being Crane, it's Two-Face.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, hi, Harvey. And you're like, oh my God, where have you been?
Yeah. Or he could even just respond like, it's not Harvey anymore.
It's Two-Face. And he goes, well, seal your fate, and he flips the coin.
Yeah. No, and that was the weird thing about Dark Knight Rises, though, is why is Dr. Crane the frickin' what's it called? The judge. Like, what sense does that make? You have Two-Face as an established character, and yeah, you said Harvey died, but that doesn't mean anything in these movies.
Yeah, the league could have taken Harvey before they buried him and been like, his body just disappeared.
Which, I will say, that's something that really annoys me about, another of the various things that really annoys me about The Dark Knight Rises, is you have that scene that's the hallucination of Roz with Bruce, and you're like, could you not, like, have just put the Lazarus Pit in? Like, explain, because that's
I read something about that, though. Why Nolan did not do that. Because Nolan is all about keeping it so real that he was suggested to him with David Sawyer or Goyer, one of the two is his name, but because he's the one who helped write the story, he's like, we have the Lazarus Pit, and then he's like,
But why even bring him back in a hallucination then?
Yeah.
Like, you're teasing that anyway. And you're like, cool. Like, it would just... And, yes, it might not 100% be realistic, but at the same time, neither is getting your spinal cord that has been broken fixed by someone punching it into place.
Yeah.
Like...
I don't know.
And think about how many times after that happens, he goes to climb up the wall and falls.
And pulls his back.
Pulls his back in a way that probably would have broken the already injured back.
But the thing that makes it epic is when he finally does make it, and the chant. What was the chant?
Rise.
Yeah, rise. But it's like.
It's whatever they were speaking it in, but I don't know. I don't know. And then it's just the Dark Knight.
We should do The Dark Knight Rises next.
We're just gonna complain about it the entire time.
I don't know.
We're gonna watch and be like, I don't remember that. Oh yeah, because I don't care about remembering this movie.
I'm gonna probably watch it now. Like, I keep saying that. I'm gonna probably watch it now, and I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, Flix, that movie is so beautiful. I was so wrong, and you're gonna be doing what you're doing right now and shaking your head because I usually do that to you.
I don't know. It's just. It's not even the same movie by the end when you watch...
I think it's more... If you look at the tone of these movies, I get the tone from Batman Begins because it's a little bit more comic booky-ish style movie that they were doing then.
Mm-hmm.
To this one being that real, like, oh, we're kind of like, we're not in sets anymore. We're in the actual streets, you know. It's more realistic looking. And then for some reason, the tone of Dark Knight Rises is so, it's
so weird.
The coloring is weird.
It's a lot more saturated. Yeah. This is like the last Batman movie that actually has like color to it. Because after this, all of them have been really saturated. I thought about something though. What if when that train crashed in Batman Begins, the League of Assassins had found Ra's al Ghul's body, brought it back, and something else that they grow with that mountain with the hallucinating drug they have is also something that when mixed with water has a regenerative properties. Which then, that's the Lazarus Pit. Is he what? Like, if you're dead, you're gone. Okay, that's one thing. But if you're in critical condition and put in that, you can still, it will heal you from almost any injury. Like, cellular regeneration is something that they could bring into this and still be realistic. And then you have Ra's al Ghul back.
That's why Hollywood needs us.
But it's just annoying that you go as far as to hire Liam Neeson for the part, bring Liam Neeson back. And so it's also funny for Joker's plan. If Harvey had flipped heads or tails or whatever, tails. Joker's plan would have stopped working.
But we never see the coin.
Well, you know it's tails though. You know it's heads.
Do we though?
Yes, because he's looking at him like, are you gonna break what this says? Are you gonna actually shoot me anyway?
I've always took that as like a mystery of maybe he's like, you know what, clown, I could kill you,
He's flat out shoots Ramirez, or he's flat out shoots
that's
Works.
different. This is the Joker, though.
Yeah, the person said the worst things.
He told him the absolute truth of like, hey, I'm gonna push you over sanity, but do you really think I'm wrong? So I'm putting this gun to my head. Either or, you have an option to blow my head off right now.
Yeah, but he still doesn't. Like, it's the premise is from this point forward.
You see Harvey, right?
Hey! You didn't give me as much of a head start as you said you would.
Asshole. I've always wondered how. Oh wait, no, yeah, because
he jumps in the back of this. That was one of Joker's goons pulling him in.
Man, this looks so good on your TV. I don't know if I can go back to my TV. Like, my TV's good, but your TV, oof.
I don't know. It's.
I heard that Kevin Smith has over 106-inch TV.
There's bigger. I mean, there's one that is called The Wall, which is gigantic. There's also.
Do you guys sell The Wall?
No, that's only through the company that makes it directly.
Okay.
I don't want to shill for anyone.
Okay, yeah, don't.
So,
I'm just saying, I'm like.
And you can buy custom TVs. I remember seeing something before the FIFA World Cup a few years back in Brazil. Somebody bought like a 250-inch TV.
Yeah.
But it's just this is only a 65, and it already takes up enough space.
Yeah, because like when I move on, when I upgrade, like I want a big one, but I want it to be more theater based, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's I don't know. I've told you 1,000 times, and I'm sure I've told people listening to this 1,000 times. If I could have my own theater like set up with like stadium style seating and a projector, like a good quality projector into a room, that'd be really nice.
It's probably where we would live.
Well, it's the truth is I would probably be more okay streaming new movies, like fresh in theater movies, if they were doing that, because
You imagine how epic it would be though if we had that type of setup and they're like, well, we caved in, we're gonna put Black Widow on demand, and it would be like, oh, okay, cool. Look, we have our own.
It's not even gonna be on demand. It's gonna be on Disney Plus probably. Because remember, Mulan's coming to Disney Plus.
But did you hear about Mulan?
What?
How much are they gonna charge you to watch Mulan?
Oh, they're gonna charge you to watch it?
$30.
Wow.
Yeah, it's gonna be in we're in August, September, and I don't know how it's gonna work though because unless you click on it, then it charges your account. But yeah, it's gonna be $30 to.
I wonder how many kids are accidentally gonna charge their parents at that point.
That's what we said. That's where we're like, all right, well, when that movie comes out, we're gonna tell the little one, do not get Mulan. Don't touch Mulan. You can watch the cartoon, but.
See, okay, so here's the thing: is I completely understand movie theaters getting pissed off for people doing that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we have this kind of unwritten agreement that when a big movie comes out, it's going to come to theaters first so that we can make money. I get that, and if it weren't for COVID, there would never have been this issue. Like, this wouldn't have been one of those things.
Well, did you hear AMC finally caved?
What?
They're actually going to have Universal
movies?
Yeah. It's just because they're already on the brink of maybe being one of those chains that go away, but they're like this, yay, Universal, it's like...
But it's you think of all these movies, like Trolls. Who really cared that much? Like, was that gonna be a big thing for Universal? But then you look at something like Fast 9.
Yeah.
Like that's gonna be
huge.
That's gonna be huge. That's gonna make probably at least $1 billion.
Yeah. Do you know what I realized? Did you take back your ticket to get a refund?
I think I did.
I didn't take back mine.
Huh.
So I was thinking of framing it so we can forever have that memory.
Yeah. No, that's the movie we're doing next. We're going to do Fate of the Furious.
Yeah, Fate of the Furious. Then we have
Hobbs and Shaw.
Hobbs and Shaw. Yes.
What was your wait? Were you going to say Hobbs and Shaw comes before Fate of the Furious?
No, I was thinking about. I was like, wasn't there another one? But
no, we already did 7. So.
Oh no, there's that imaginary one I made in my mind.
Yeah, the one with Han. That I have no idea.
Yeah.
But no, it's It's that I understand why movie theaters be annoyed, and I understand why streaming services want not streaming services companies want to be releasing these movies still. But you think about it, 2021 is going to be a pretty like
huge
cruddy.
year.
Well, no. I was going to say it's going to be a pretty cruddy year for movies if all of them are being released on demand this year.
Yeah, like I heard that they finally pushed back Tenet indefinitely, so that might not even see the light of day until next year.
Mm-hmm.
And
Bill and Ted's coming out at the end of this month.
Yeah, because I think that movie was so like low budget ish, but not low budget ish, to get away with that.
Yeah.
Because
So also a note. Sorry, we're at the part where they're talking about people leaving the city. And they're like, yeah, no, we had all these cars, or we had our people check up and down that none of the bridges were rigged with explosives, but nobody will go on it. I'd have got on it. If the police are going, hey, okay, checking, okay, we've completely checked this bridge, there are no explosives. I'd be like, are you sure? Yes, I will take this bridge.
I think it's just to show how stupid we become when chaos happens.
Yeah, look at 2020.
Like, I think this is a really good reflection of that.
So, it's kind of funny to me to think about, like, the next pandemic movie to come out. Like, what's that going to be like?
Because they're already coming out with them, though, right now.
Well, no, but, like, post-2020. Like, I really want to... if I could direct a movie at this point in time, it would be a pandemic movie that is as realistic as possible, showing how the United States has responded to this whole thing, and have it be like, you remember V for Vendetta?
Yes.
You remember?
I love V for Vendetta.
I love V for Vendetta too. But do you remember when they're talking about the United States? It's kind of a throwaway line, but like the U.S. is pretty much burning at this point in time because a plague came out.
Yeah.
That the British were able to find a cure for, but they kind of used religion as a reason not to give it to America.
Yeah.
And then America's just burning. And I'm just like, okay, well, that's a little more foreboding now than it used to be.
Well, I've always looked, with this pandemic and everything, with disaster movies and stuff like that, our government and those movies never handle it in any proper way. They're always like, monsters are coming? Come on, General. Are you thinking? That's crazy. Holy crap, there's a damn monster outside our place.
Gosh, Godzilla.
Yeah. Or like...
But that's also funny because like there's a secret government organization with Monarch, or international organization with Monarch, that are handling things really well.
Well, I'm taking like movies like 2020. They ain't gonna listen to no stupid Mayans. Those not 2020.
2012.
2012. Like we're not gonna listen to no Mayans. The Mayans and their calendar. Oh God, why is there a big wave coming towards you?
Yeah. Well, no, but it's that they had already been setting up the arc too, but it's just not that level. Because man, I watched a funny video the other day about it's like if there was a zombie outbreak in the U.S. and it's making fun of the current pandemic, which I honestly think that's what that movie would be. It wouldn't be a serious like thriller. It'd be a pandemic movie that would be a comedy.
Yeah, because it is kind of comical how all this unfolded. Because it was like, no, it's gonna go away.
But it would be like there's like 5 friends who are not super intelligent, but they're intelligent people, and the virus evidently is like a stupid virus or something like that.
Well, I find it crazy too. Is like we watched a movie the other day on Shudder, ironically enough, and it was a Zoom movie, so all on Zoom, but it dealt with ghosts. But in the movie, they're like, yeah, we're all staying inside, we're all here on Zoom together just because of the pandemic, Now we're slowly like making these movies, and I'm kind of like, wow, I really hope next year I don't get a shit ton of crappy Zoom movies.
Yeah, well, and it would be, I would want it to be more of an actual one, and it would be post this, like that's kind of the point. But it's not to say that humanity is stupid and doesn't deserve to be saved. It's the way that some people view certain things. The joke thing I was watching the other day, like with the zombie outbreak, it's these 2 guys. Well, it's the same guy, but he's talking. There's two people sitting next to this window, and they look outside, and there's just like zombies out there. and they're like, oh man, we just need to shelter in place. We're gonna be fine. And it's just like
it just slowly outbreaks and.
Well, no. It's like a 1.5-minute video.
Oh.
Like the person sitting next to him is like, yeah, no, I'm gonna go out. It's like, whoa, what? It's like, yeah, I'm gonna go out. I don't want to stay inside. I'm like, dude, no, you need to stay inside. There are zombies out there. And he's like, no, I'm gonna go out. I want to do things. I'm an adult. I'm gonna go outside. And he's like, okay, well, at least wear these headphones. Evidently, the zombie virus is transmitted through your ears into your brains. But if I wear headphones, it's going to be uncomfortable. Well, yeah, but it'll stop the zombie virus.
Why don't you play some music?
Well, no. But he's just like, do I have to wear it like whenever I'm out? I was like, well, yeah. He's like, that's uncomfortable. I'm not going to do that. That's against my rights. He's like, well, what are you talking? It has nothing to do with your rights. It's about being a selfless, caring person. He's like, no, I'm not going to do it. And he's just like, oh, okay. He's like, I'm gonna go to the beach now. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like it's better than that, obviously.
I was gonna say, I was like, this movie sounds interesting.
It's not a movie. It's just a parody of what's going on.
But here I would say this right here, when the debate with the bombs, this is definitely America, where like, oh, well, they had their time, you know. And then like my favorite parts when he comes, he's like, give me it. You should have done what you did about 5 minutes ago. And he's just like, he throws it away.
I also like how it's the kids.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay. Do we even see Barbara in this?
No. Even when we get to the scene where Rachel died, we don't see the daughter. We see the daughter, but we see the kid more than we see the daughter. Which is funny because the son.
Because I like part of me's curious if they had the intent, because this is another thing that's wasted. If you have Barbara, if you have the idea that he has a female daughter, which we're going to assume is Barbara,
yeah,
like maybe you don't want to show her that much in this movie because in case you hire another actress for her in the next movie, you want it to be a little more.
Ooh, that would have been a good setup. Like in that 8-year span that Bruce is gone, all of a sudden Gordon's like, there's some female bat running around, you know.
I think it would have been better if it had been the tail end of it when things started to get bad again.
Yeah.
But you need to introduce her. Like, that's the problem.
Hey, Gordon, when did you have a daughter? Oh.
You have kids? Wait, what?
I've never had bring your daughter to work day. I've always just brought my son.
Why would you ever bring your kid to the Gotham PD at all?
I don't know, but you imagine that's such a, like, that would be like Gordon's like, somebody in HR is like, here Gordon, we're having bring your kid to GCPD day. You're like, why?
We're having bring your kid to Arkham Day.
And they get to interact with the inmates and do coloring and.
Yeah.
In this part I really like where he screams, I have to save Dad.
He feels responsible for what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's again this movie is so well done for the next one to be so bad.
I do like this plan of Joker's where it's like it's like, oh crap, Alfred. the people the masks.
The people in masks are the good people. It's the people that aren't in them that are the bad ones. Until we get to one of the floors.
Yeah. But I like how he takes out the SWAT.
Yeah. I don't know. This is the one kind of mirrored scene. Granted, there aren't really any hostages in the other one.
Yeah.
But BVS's scene, like the uncut version when he saves Martha.
Yeah.
Versus this scene. I do still kind of like the BVS one. It's a little more brutal.
Oh my god, yeah.
But it's also the problem being that they're kind of willing to kill. Like that's.
Well, didn't he snap someone's neck back?
No, he stabs him.
Yeah.
Like someone stabs him and he takes the knife back and just stabs him.
I remember seeing that scene. I'm like, this is the Batman I've always wanted. Just straight brutal. Get shot.
Well, and it's, I don't know, the problem with that one is the killing.
Yeah.
Like, and it's especially because there's nothing established that, like, was good enough.
Well, he was been 25 years in the game. Wouldn't you have enough?
I still, if it's one of those, he makes that statement in the movie about, we've been doing this for over 20 years, Alfred. How many friends have we had, and how many of them stayed that way? Well, and we're like, you're no better if you're killing people. That's kind of always been the purpose.
Yeah, and that's why I really, I like, you know, even though I do like killing Batman, don't get me wrong, I love killing Batman. This Batman I like is because with the Joker, he doesn't let him die. Like, he still has that, well, he'll let the dog die when he throws him down.
Oh, Batman, you dick!
Oh.
I don't know. It's
just so funny too. Like after the hostages get saved and whatnot, and if I was Gordon, I'd be like, you guys are getting paid how much, and you're taken down by.
Yeah.
We need a whole new SWAT.
I don't know. It's still, maybe that's what happened in the next movies. They got rid of all the cops from this, so everyone else in the next movie is just stupid.
Oh yeah, and then they brought in Homeboy. Remember? To get killed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was sad. Well, kind of, because we really got no backstory with him whatsoever.
Yeah.
You're like, you care about this character. Why? Because he's going to die later on.
Yeah, you're like, that's... I don't know. That was... We should probably watch that movie at some point soon, just because...
Maybe how about we watch it on our separate times?
I don't want to waste my time.
Well, I'm just saying, we watch it on our times, then we come back and we watch it together.
I still don't want to waste my time watching that.
Oh my goodness, this is for research. This is for podcasting.
I don't know. It's still not really worth it.
I knew you were going to say that.
I don't know. It's one of those things that if outside of Pop Flix, I never watched The Dark Knight Rises again, I don't know if I'd ever care. I mean, I own it. And it's just, I don't know.
This part is so cool. Oh, there goes my leg. My groin.
One of us should have grabbed a bar first.
Oh, and every time I watch this, I always look like, nope, none of them hit the side.
Yeah. Well, what's funny earlier, something that I actually missed until I watched it this time, and I've watched this movie a lot, which is kind of weird. But when Maroni's getting in his car, you see 3 people go to get in the car, like, and on the very side of the screen, you see the guy get taken out from behind, and it's because that's Harvey getting in the car instead. Like, he takes out the guy and gets in the car instead. And
it's just because of your TV, we can notice these
things. I know. But here comes the weird animal cruelty.
I will never kill, but I will throw a dog.
I will never take an innocent life, or yours. But the dog, he had it coming.
Yeah, nope. There goes one dog. There goes 2 dogs.
It'd be funny if the SWAT guys were just like holding down dogs, just started falling on them. But no, it's...
I honestly wish this fight was a little bit longer. Like, I feel like now we finally got Joker and Batman, like, going at it. After rewatching it for the billionth time, I was like, man, I wish this fight was longer.
I love this scene, though.
Oh, yeah.
Give me that. I'm going to do what you should have done 5 minutes ago.
That's what I said earlier.
We did talk about we like the scene. I didn't say you were wrong for liking the scene.
I thought you were like, I do the voice better than you do.
No. I like this actor, though. The guy... Not him.
Debo?
Yeah. I'm sure he's a very nice person, but he looks so freaking intimidating that it's like he was born to be an actor.
Yeah. And this asshole. Oh yeah? You gotta get your hands dirty? Then he pussies out?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the big moral dilemma. It's not a question of if the community votes to do it. It's the person who has to choose to take that life. Like, you could be in a group of, 10,000 people all given a vote as to if someone should live or die. And if you are the one who has to take that life, that's...
Okay, how about this? What would you have done in this situation? If you were on the ferry just going, trying to get out of Gotham, there's thugs in the other place, what would you do? If you had to make the choice, like right now, you got it. Even though he threw that out the window.
I mean, to be fair, it's the question of how well you're being watched. Because what I would recommend people do is
jump off the
boat, and once we're clear, I would tell the other boat like, do it.
We'll trick him.
But I don't think I have the capacity to turn a switch knowing that it's going to take a bunch of people's lives. Because, like, they're like, oh, well, it's a bunch of criminals over there. What about the cops on that? What about the guards on that?
Or the criminals that are not, like, high-quality criminals.
Dang it, I chose the wrong time to not pay my parking fine.
That's why I love this scene so much, because they're, like, the morality of it and how both sides decide not to kill each other. But at the same time, I'm thinking of the prisoners that are actually on that thing. They're like, man, I'm here for, like, I got caught with, like, a bag of weed. Like,
Not even that. I parked in front of a fire hydrant and couldn't pay it off.
Not my fault, because Batman was cruising through and he hit my car just moving slightly enough in front of that hydrant.
Yeah, no, the Batmobile actually launched my car into a building and I couldn't remove the car, so I got fined.
He blew up most of the car, but not the license plate.
Be the funniest thing though if Batman like had Alfred keep track of all of the damages he did. He's like, Alfred, I need you to keep a camera all around me all the time, and when something breaks, I need you to pay that person for it under a secret thing, so I'm not causing undue damage.
What if Alfred already is? And like, what?
Well, no, that was okay. So one of the best things I saw was it's like a meeting of Batman's rogues gallery, and it's like the person behind it all, and it's Alfred, and he's just like, Master Bruce came back wanting to fight crime, and instead of having him fight hardened criminals that were just gonna shoot him, I decided I'd hire a bunch of actors to be the Riddler, the Joker, and all of this, and all of their goons are just, hired actors, and I pay them to keep Master Wayne entertained.
That's so fucked up.
It is, but it's just, you think about it, you're like...
I cannot look at it any other way, though. But how about, like, it's one of those things where all of a sudden Bruce is there and they're like, hey, Mr. Wayne, do we have an outstanding balance account here? Like, what is critical damage? Like...
That's actually what the guy in the beginning of this movie has been doing, keeping the trust fund in order, is just paying off all of the things he's destroyed.
He says like a message to Bruce at the end. He's like, hey, by the way, I think you owe a lot of people money. I think your company's going to go under after you pay all these people.
Well, and it's you wonder, like, at what level does it come his damage that he's doing, at what level does it become others? Because,
Well, even the city, because...
Well, no, but, like, when that helicopter gets taken down earlier in the movie, is Batman going to pay for that? Like... I don't know. I do... One of the things that I really do like about Bruce Wayne in continuity, though, in kind of regards to that, is that Bruce himself, in a lot of this, I mean, not everything, but in a lot of things, especially when it's normal life, not crazy life going on, but he heavily invests in the Gotham PD. He
invests a lot in Gotham, because remember, in Dark Knight Rises, the orphanages, the orphans are getting orphanages. God, why can't I say the word? You say it.
Orphanage?
Yeah, are shutting down. Why? Because they were all funded by Wayne Foundation. Now Wayne Foundation has no money.
Mm-hmm. No, and it's just
orphanage. Okay.
Either way, but it's like he pays for. Okay, there's the girl. I always forget the girl is even here, honestly.
But you really don't see her.
You don't, and that's what I was saying is. If that had been the thing, is the entire time they were keeping her secret to have her come back as Batgirl, that'd have been cool. But that never happened. So.
Ooh, you know what would be really cool? Like right here, he grabs the daughter. It'd be our first time seeing her, and he's like, "It's gonna be okay, Barbara." That's a nice little introduction.
It just seems so weird that he from now on, Barbara's got that little problem of, oh, my dad cares more about my brother than I do, or than me, evidently, because. That's the favorite.
But the little idea of him saying Barbara is far exceeding and far better than, oh, why don't you use your maiden name? Oh, Robin?
Yeah.
Robin's a cute name.
Her name is Barbara Batgirl Gordon.
Barbara
So she starts using her middle name, and when she starts fighting crime, that's Nolan's train of thought.
How did you come up with Batgirl as her middle name? The 70s. Crazy times.
Yeah. My wife actually dressed as a bat when we procreated to make her. That would have been the 70s. This movie came out in, what, like 08, 07? That would have been, gosh, at this point in time, she'd probably be like 14.
Yeah.
So that would have been the 90s still?
Oh, the 90s.
Yeah. No,
They really don't want to show that actress being.
I told you, that's what I'm saying. But it would have been interesting, though, if in the next movie there was a Batgirl and her spark to try to, like, train herself to fight crime is that her family got abducted like this.
And unless we didn't introduce Catwoman, and had Anne Hathaway be Barbara. I know it's a far stretch because she is a lot older than an 8-year span for this span.
You'd need like a 19, 20-year-old actress at this point in time.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
That would have make sense, though, if they did that. You know what I mean? Like, Barbara's...
Honestly, now looking at it, I never thought about it before, but looking at it now, it makes a lot of sense that Christopher Nolan would have been setting up for that, which makes the fact that he didn't do it even worse. I hate The Dark Knight Rises more now.
Yeah. Hey, you're welcome. Because I thought, I was like, oh, man, Anne Hathaway is Batgirl. You know, that would have been cool.
Yeah.
She was an alright Catwoman, but her premise in that story was kind of like...
She was too whiny, in my opinion.
I don't remember. That's the problem.
She, almost all the time, she spent just complaining about things. And then, like, oh, I'm not going to help you with this. Oh, even Wayne doesn't even go pour the same way the rest of us do. Oh, you guys sit up here on your ivory tower. You know, there's a storm coming. You're like, quit complaining.
Well, listen, she had some... Yeah, the storm coming, Mr. Wayne. I did like that line. Damn it. Like... Now I'm just pushing myself.
That shows how bad the movie is that you can't remember anything from it.
It's funny. It's like, the Dark Knight trilogy's my life. Well, what about the third one? I don't know.
the Dark Knight two-parter is my thing. Oh, so Dark Knight Rises? What the hell is Dark Knight Rises?
That's like the people who complain about the prequels. There's nothing before the New Hope, you know. It's like Casey. Every time I bring up, like, oh, Phantom Menace is so great, and Revenge of the Sith, he goes, I've never heard of those movies. And I'm like, oh yeah.
See, to be fair, there's only one movie, and it's because of the movie sort of itself, like and everything mixed into it. It's Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly, but it's one of those. I will accept that the prequel trilogy exists. I'll accept that the sequel trilogy exists, even that middle one that you don't particularly like. But it's that they went back and went, hey, let's make a new Indiana Jones, and then made one movie, didn't go anywhere with it, and haven't done anything since.
I have a fun fact after we finish this. I'll tell a story after this movie's over about the Indiana Jones 4 movie that I think you'll find fascinating. Do you really think this fall would have killed him?
I mean, any fall over like a foot could probably kill you.
Well, I'm just thinking maybe it's just because he was a little bit more fucked up, you know, with his burns and whatnot. That's why he died so easy falling that far.
I mean, could you imagine having like
test this theory.
a really bad burn on like your left arm, falling like 5 feet onto your left arm? And I'm not talking like, oh, it's a slight sunburn. I'm talking like the skin
Scorched.
is peeled and
Your bones.
you're in constant agony anyway.
Yeah.
Like.
I mean, he's a G though. I've never seen him take any pills or anything.
That was the point though. That's what Gordon said. He said that you're in constant pain, but you refuse medication.
Because that would have been funny if he did pop some pills that just go out the side of his mouth. Well, he did have that alcohol. Well, had that shot.
Slipped out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Or he just drank it dirty. I don't actually know 100% on that one. But,
we bet it all on him. I'm like, well, you guys should have not done that.
Could we have bet on the Batman instead? Bruce Wayne's rich enough he can get plastic surgery to look like Harvey Dent.
Yeah,
Say
well,
Bruce
God.
Wayne died.
That's some Hush stuff right there, but in reverse.
Alfred, I need you to make all of my money, or move my entire will to Harvey Dent, but do it secretively.
Oh, that would be weird though. Like then, Bale's out of the role.
Yeah, you just have Aaron Eckhart playing it.
Aaron Eckhart's Batman.
Gosh, I don't know how good of shape he was in at this point in time, but he would have had to get in a lot better shape.
Oh yeah. Look like the lawyer.
Yeah.
You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Which is actually a pretty good line for Batman in the other movies, the Snyder ones. Is you're like, yeah, no, he's just a villain now, honestly.
It was so funny though. It was like when he's like, I killed those people. I'm like,
You think about it and you're like, anyone who knows your MO in the slightest isn't going to believe that. You realize that, right? You've never used a gun.
I'm the biggest backer for you when it comes to all this.
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna be like, no, he's a straight stone cold. But Gordon, you said you trusted the bat. Yeah. But I think that's why in the next one it weighs on him so heavily. That's why he has that note around and Bane reads it.
I also like how he's swinging for the metal part of it instead of the glass part.
Because he doesn't want to break it. He's like, I spent my money on this.
This is actually my own donation.
Hey guys, we really don't need to smash it. Well, I paid for this.
Yeah.
This is why we live in that real shitty 2-story apartment. Because I bought this bad signal. I still haven't told her.
Yeah. My wife just thinks I was getting my check stipend for something. I never explained that I'd actually just paid for that.
Because that's a lot. Because in the first one it shows up. That's a lot to tell the city. Hey, I need a light at the top of the building.
Well, it's funny because that's how this movie starts, though, is when they're just like, what about that nightlight you guys got on top of GCPD? Well, if you want to talk to our electricians about faulty electricity, you're welcome to.
And it's so funny, after I watched Batman Begins and I watched this, it's like, that roof is so small in Batman Begins and it goes to the roof, and this one's like, that roof's a lot bigger than it should be.
Mm-hmm. You know, it would be something I might do is, and we can discuss this at some other point, but it does seem like there were some hints in this movie of what could have happened with The Dark Knight Rises. But for some reason, they just went a totally different way. I don't know why they felt they needed to shoehorn the League of Assassins into the third one. But there are so many other villains that you could have put in there that might have made him come back, and it wouldn't have had to be the Joker.
Boom. The Dark Knight. Dun, 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 dun.
It's just so weird to finish this one and
With
then
thinking of the other movie.
Well, no, but it's so weird to finish this one.
Oh, David Esquire. So I remember.
But it's so weird to finish this movie with such a strong thing, and the next movie they're just like, yeah, we're gonna crap all over it. I like this movie, and that's one of the reasons I don't like Bill Finger 2. It's one of the reasons I don't like The Dark Knight Rises.
Bill Fingers was
No, it wasn't.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, when did they go back and change that?
No.
I was like, the first time Bill Finger gets credited is BVS, which I don't think was.
No. It was Bob Kane.
Okay.
And I just added, and Bill Finger.
I got excited too. I was like, did they go back and fix all these?
I've had this longer than that. There's no way they could have gone back. This is a physical copy.
No, your TV updated.
Your TV, just in slightly off font below it. It writes it in there like that.
It's all in marker. What was I gonna say? So quick story, real quick. What you were talking about with the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So that scene with the lead fridge and whatnot, the infamous. In the original Back to the Future script, because what was his name? Plays Dougie in 16 Candles, Dead Zone, blonde hair kid, dorky.
The guy from
the Rat Pack. Because he was trying to go up. Well, I'll do quick story straight. He was trying to go up for Marty as well. And the script that he did an interview in the script that he read for Back to the Future far different from what we saw on this big screen. So in this version, Marty is the big finale is the thing needs plutonium and needs radioactive. So he goes to a plant and he finds out that in order to get the thing kick-started they needed coke to put into the fuel system so the coke can go. And it was the 60s, 50s, right?
Yeah.
Back then, coke was a big thing. It was all, so he stills the thing of coke. And
are we talking cola or cane?
Cola.
Okay.
So
sorry, there was just when you're talking about the 60s and Coke, there's two things it could be.
Yeah, and in the script was this thing. Marty then realizes, oh shit, this thing's radioactive and it's gonna explode. So he can get the time machine and him back where it needs to be. He goes to a house, he finds a lead fridge because it's lead, and this was all Spielberg's idea. And they never used that in the movie, but lo and behold, Spielberg held on to that idea until he put it in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And I wonder if that was his advantage point for George. He's like, fine, I'll do that. But can I have my scene where I can...
I don't know. It's not even just that bothers me. And also, it's the guy who plays the brother in 2.5 Men, right? That's who you're talking about?
No.
I thought that was like...
No, that's not Dougie. He was part of the Rat Pack. I don't remember that dude, but was he? Let's see. I might be wrong. 2.5 Men. I never really got into that show.
Me neither.
We're looking up 2.5 Men right now.
Oh, that's what you're looking up.
Oh, John Cryer.
Looking up.
Yeah, and maybe him. So, on Back to the Future. Yeah, it was him. John Cryer from 2.5 Men.
See?
Yeah, you're right. Recalls a very different Back to the Future ending when he auditioned for Marty McFly, while Ben Stiller even tried to go for the role of Marty. Was brief in his recollection of auditioning to play Marty. Cryer wanted to discuss some of the differences in the script he read at the time.
Yeah.
Like, there was really no doc and whatnot, so it's just crazy when you hear those evolutions of movies.
Well, it's fun. Like, that's one of the best part about special features on movies is when you go through them and you get to see what's happened. Like, you see how far the creative process can move from one thing to another.
Oh, that'd be so fun for us.
Yeah.
Jumping in Back to the Future. I'm still against the fourth one, but they want everyone, like Christopher Lloyd, he wants to do a fourth movie and final movie, and I'm like, I'll be down with that, but
I don't know. I feel like the issue with doing movies so long after the premise of it, and like if they had done it back in what was
the
it?
90s, late 90s.
Well, it came out in '85, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then, if they'd done it back in like '05, of like the 30 years, because they go back in time 30 years, and they had a thing where they go forward in time, like.
Yeah, because Back to the Future 3 was 90.
It was 2015.
Yeah.
Either way, like, I'm okay with that to a point, but they need to be doing it for the right reason. If they're doing it to make money, which
granted, that's what Hollywood's all about.
Well, no, but that's the problem with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, though, is it doesn't have any of the heart or anything like that any of the Indiana Jones movies have. It doesn't, and you can talk about Harrison Ford as an actor on a lot of things where, honestly, it seems like most of the time when he does things nowadays, especially, it's kind of for a paycheck.
Yeah.
Not that he really needs it necessarily, I don't believe.
Well, remember that weird little... You remember this, where he went into that whole weird, like, I'm only taking serious roles.
Yeah.
Air Force One, The Fugitive, Blade Runner. No, Blade Runner.
Clear and Present Danger.
Yeah. 40 Days and 40 Nights. That's why I love when that poster's in Fanboys. When they're driving, like, Harrison Ford's the greatest actor ever. They go by that sign.
No, but it's more recently it seems like he's been doing a lot of them for money, which is why we have Blade Runner 2049. We have him in Star Wars again, and not necessarily in the greatest way in Rise of Skywalker. And it's and he's still doing some good things too, but you just look at it and go,
still crashing planes. And...
Yeah. But you look at it and you go, if a movie's being made for the sake of someone thinks a generally good thing can come from it, that's one thing. If a movie's being made because Hollywood goes, it's been long enough, we can make another one and make some money off of it, which, that's the dichotomy of Hollywood, is they need to make money to make movies.
Well, that's any sequel in general.
I know, but you look at, let's talk about Star Wars. You look at Star Wars. Came out between, 77 and 83. All three of the movies were out between that time.
Mm-hmm.
Then...
Phantom Menace 99.
Phantom Menace came out almost 30 years, or...
I was like 30 years.
20 years later. Well, no, but from the first one, it came out almost 30 years later.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, well, the original Star Wars was written, and then later on it became Part 4, Part 5, Part 6. So George has written an introduction to these with 1, 2, and 3. Cool, we'll go with that. You watch 1, you watch 2, you watch 3. Awesome, they tell a story. Yeah, maybe not the greatest, but it is the one that George wanted to tell. Fine. I can accept those kind of movies being made that far away for that. Then you wait another, 15, 16 years?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when...
Disney's got it.
Disney gets it, and Disney goes, we want to start making new things. Which, I'm going to have to bring it up, but Rogue One comes out. Rogue One, you look at it and go, was this movie made because people genuinely thought something good was going to come from it, or to make money from it? It's more of a cash... No, but I'm also saying it's more of a cash grab movie compared to the first 6.
Well, remember, on the verge of Rogue One, everyone was like... A lot of people were like, oh, I wonder if this is going to do well. And it was one of those things Disney was like... And then it did do well, and then that's when Disney was like... Oh, hell yeah.
We can just start making
Star Wars movies every year.
and then The Force Awakens, and then Solo, and then The Rise of Skywalker, then The Last Jedi, then Rise of Skywalker, and you're going, okay, the mainline story movies kind of still seem like there's something someone's trying to do behind them.
Mm-hmm. But
then you look at all these other movies where, if we had movies that were taking place between episode 6 and 7. If that was the movies that were coming out were between episode 6 and 7, I'd be a lot more okay with it, because the problem with Rogue One, the problem with Solo, is you're telling stories we already know the end to, 1. 2, you made the Clone War saga, Rebels, and then... Resistance, all to fill in that gap of time. And... that's why I genuinely like The Mandalorian. I think The Mandalorian came out with a purpose of kind of giving a different perspective, because having watched Clone Wars, you know that The Mandalorians aren't doing great anymore. And
it feels Star Wars. It
genuinely does, which I don't get that same feeling from some of the other things.
Now, I rewatched The Mandalorian the other day, and I was like, well, I'm almost halfway through the season, and I'm just like, God, why didn't we put these guys on the sequel trilogy? These guys love Star Wars.
Well, and it's the thing that they're doing with The Mandalorian that I really kind of like, which this is something that DC could learn from, is that it's different directors.
Oh, yes.
It's different directors almost per episode.
Yeah, Taika's part of that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm excited to see what
Taika... So is Ron Howard.
Yeah.
So is...
Ron Howard's daughter.
Yeah, Bryce Howard.
Yeah.
Bryce Dallas Howard. Either way. She is,
Claire.
Yeah.
I just call her Claire.
I'm trying to remember, why can't I remember his name? Happy Hogan.
Oh, yeah, Jon Favreau?
Jon Favreau, yes. He did the first one.
He's God. Think about that, man.
Well, no, but it's you look at these and it's, I will harp this to the point, a series needs to have multiple directors.
And Dave Filoni, who was part of the Clone Wars big time, actually made his directional debut with The Mandalorian.
It's you keep the same person for a long time, it kind of makes an issue, which is what DC's done with Zack Snyder or Christopher Nolan's thing either, because we love the first 2 Christopher Nolan Batman movies. The third one, it kind of seemed like he had plans, sort of, especially now that I'm looking more deeply into it. I used to just watch it to watch it. I didn't really think much about it anymore. But like looking deep into it, you're like, wow, there's actually setup for a trilogy that never came to be.
Well, when I brought up the Barbara thing, you were like,
what? The Barbara thing, like I could have sworn I saw that he had a daughter, or at one point in time, his wife told, like, the wife was standing at the door and she told Barbara to go inside, something like that.
Yeah.
And I didn't think about it that much, and I was like, I don't remember seeing this actress, which is why I think the problem was. And now you flat out find out they were blocking her face the entire time. I'm like, it's so they could add her, have a different actress, and there'd be no continuity. Like, that's not what she looked like.
Yeah.
Like, it would be to fit in that way. But it's still... It's Christopher Nolan doing all three. Zack Snyder doing all the ones he's done. Like, you look at when they step away, when they let other people come in, it's better movies. And I wish the third of these Batman movies had been directed by someone else.
Yeah.
Like, no, like, it's you can take something that someone else has done and make something better from it. Or make something good. Like,
but you gotta think though, look at the space between the Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. It's like 4 years.
So?
You know, but it's still, that's like...
The space in movie is 8 years.
Yeah.
Like,
but that's the thing, is like, I'm like, why'd you go 8? Like, I know you were physically gone for 4 years since we did the last movie.
Mm-hmm.
Why? It's the movies. Like, you could tell me this was yesterday and this was tomorrow, you know?
No, but it's also hearing that 8-year gap, it really makes me think, well, if Barbara was like 12, she'd be 20.
Mm-hmm.
She would be an adult in college or whatever, and you could have Batgirl. Like, that time jump makes so much sense to me now on something they didn't pay off.
I'm sorry I brought it up.
You shouldn't. But it's I don't know. I think maybe I will. Nice. That was super loud. I'm sure.
I know. I was like, as soon as I was drinking it, I could hear it in my ear. I was like, wow, that. Now he's just sucking off flicks.
I know. You wouldn't be able to talk. Wait, didn't my wife say to wait till she got home?
Well, people are gonna take that out of context. We'll just leave it in context. We'll just leave the mystery there.
But no, I think something I might do just to throw it at you is write my own third installment to this movie.
Ooh. How about, okay, you don't have to rewatch the movie because you need to have a decent memory. How about I rewatch The Dark Knight Rises? I will make my notes. You can write your version of The Dark Knight Rises, and when we do a 2-parter for The Dark Knight Rises, we can sit and jibber jab.
Yeah. You don't think it would have been something that would have been okay about these movies as well as if eventually they did want to include Robin in it, like, make it something that makes sense? Like...
Well, I there's a lot of parts in that movie that still hold, like, if I remember right, like just a lot of the Alfred parts really get me, and the little tidbits that try to tie it back to Batman Begins kind of get me, but overall story-wise, you're like, oh, okay, well, Bane's cool, but totally gets obliterated with Talia just being there, because you're like...
He's a bitch.
You're like, because I just rewatched Batman and Robin, and I'm just like, he's Poison Ivy's bitch, like, does anybody not grasp the concept of Bane? Yeah. This is why Bane's part of the main rogue gallery, because even though they did a great job with him in Harley Quinn.
Yeah, they make him an idiot though. Like that's the thing is, Bane's introduction is him outsmarting Batman. It has nothing to do with how strong he is. It's him outsmarting Batman. The Long Halloween and all that is him pushing Batman by having so many small things happen that Batman's trying
to... Halloween, Nightfall?
Yeah, Nightfall. I thought that was part of the Long Halloween. Nightfall.
Nightfall is the big one where they bring Azrael in. Because that's when, during the Nightfall is when Bane breaks Batman's back. I think you're getting two stories mixed up.
Either way. The one where Bane breaks Batman is he has a lot of little things going on. Batman's spending so much time trying to do all of them, and then suddenly he's too tired to face Bane. Bane breaks him. Mm-hmm. Like, and it had nothing to do with the venom that Bane was using, but, you know, he's still super strong anyway.
That's such a great, like, I remember when I read that, I was like, and I remember when I heard that Bane was going to be in this one, and I remember seeing the trailer, and, like, when he picked up Batman, I was like, oh, I'm going to see
what's going to happen, but at the same time, that was just a little fanboy payoff thing that meant nothing in the long run.
But if I remember now, like slowly coming back to me, that fight is so great because that's when they take the music down to bare minimum, and you actually hear them slugging it out.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
you
sold me, Mr. Dent.
And I understand that Heath Ledger's passing made a big difference for things going forward. Like, of course, they probably had something that brings the Joker into it if Heath Ledger doesn't die, but either way, like, I will write it with the idea of the Joker not being involved.
Okay. And I will watch it and probably come back on that episode and be like, oh my gosh, Flix, that movie was the greatest thing I've ever seen. And then you're going to be like,
let me show you something really great.
And I'm like, can we go play back the last commentary of what you were saying about that movie? Because this always happens. But all right.
Okay.
Time to get out of here. I hope everybody had fun. I hope you enjoyed the finale, part 2 of The Dark Knight with me and Flix. Tell us if you like this version of Pop Flix. You know, this was very experimental.
Not that half of them we've ever done in the last year weren't, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's all experiments. You know, we got to find our groove, and I kind of like this. I like the conversation in the starting. I like the conversation at the end.
And in the middle, technically.
Yeah, in the middle, technically. But I hope you enjoyed it. You can look, if you want to go back and rewatch it, and with both back-to-back, part 1, part 2, I will have where we start in this movie, the time on the Blu-ray, or if you're watching it on iTunes, wherever you're watching it, I will have the time there.
It should, in theory, be the same time, but you never know.
You never know. So, but I'll have the time break if you want to do that. The first part, we end right when Joker claps, and this one we start right before Joker claps. So
to give a little time, if you watched one half with us and are now watching this part,
we should make a director's cut of this and just put them together.
Yeah. I don't know if that would actually even make sense as far as
I know.
We'd halfway through just suddenly just be skipping to something else.
Yeah, you imagine we write the social event, The Dark Knight director's cut.
Jeez, we gotta let you go because you gotta go do stuff. But we need to have some discussions on certain cuts of movies.
Oh yeah.
You've watched the new Green Lantern, right? The Ryan Reynolds cut.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. This is exactly what I was thinking Zack Snyder was going to start. I called that a while back too.
Yeah.
So.
But go to Shudder.com, SHUDDER. Use the special promo code C+. Get 30 free days on us, and after that, it's only $5 to make you holla. If you would like to donate to the show, we have the PayPal in the description below the episode. All that kicks back to us recording, all the recording equipment and upgrading. Also go to TeePublic to get your C+ Studios gear. There's also Pop Flix gear there. There's also all types of things, and I'm working on it now, but I have a hashtag PopFlix Save Hollywood shirt coming. So check that out. I hope you enjoyed this 2-parter for your back-to-back social events. Let us know what you think. I am KMB The Sexy Ninja, a.k.a. Pop.
And I'm Flix.
And when in doubt, fuck your couch.